Hello class 9. Today we will start with chapter 10, magnetism. So let's learn about magnets. In the junior classes you have learned about magnets, that the magnets are the objects which are capable of attracting iron substances, and also they produce magnetic field. So here is a picture of a magnet. This is a bar magnet, and always magnets has two poles, the north pole and the south pole. The north pole, which is represented with the red color, and the south pole is represented with the blue color. Two like poles repel each other while the two unlike poles attract each other. This means that the two like poles, like north pole, if it comes and face to face with a north pole, then they will repel each other. Similarly, a south pole will repel south pole, but a north pole and a south pole, if they come together, they will attract each other. So here a north pole and a south pole are getting attracted, whereas a south pole and south pole, they will repel each other. Also a north pole and north pole will also repel each other. And also a magnet can set itself along the north-south direction when suspended freely. So if you suspend a magnet like this freely, when it comes to rest, the north pole of the magnet will face the geographic north, and the south pole of the magnet will face the geographic south pole. So a freely suspended magnet always comes to the rest in north-south direction. Induced magnetism. Suppose, let's say there is a magnetic substance. A magnetic substance is not a magnet, but it gets attracted by a magnet. And closer to this magnetic substance, a real magnet is placed. So when a real magnet comes closer to the magnetic substance, the north pole over here, which is closer to the magnetic substance, will induce some magnetism. Means the magnetic lines of force will pass through the magnetic substance, and it will induce a south pole in this particular part of the magnetic substance. So when it induces south pole, then the other end automatically becomes a north pole. So here, since this becomes a south pole, okay, now since north and south pole are attracted, so this south pole and this north pole will get attracted, and thus this magnetic substance will get attracted towards a magnet. So here the magnetic pole induces an opposite polarity. So the north pole induces opposite, that is south pole, on the near end, and a similar polarity, means the north pole will induce north pole on the further end of the iron bar. So the magnetic substance gets induced first, and then only it gets attracted. So first is the induction, which is preceded by attraction. So induction precedes attraction. So here we can see that there is a magnet out here, and the magnet is being in contact with the nail, and the nail now, after getting induced by this magnet, it has a magnetic induction, and thus it can attract the iron clips or the magnetic substances down there. So you can see the paper clips are hanging on the nail, which is not actually the magnet, but the nail has become a temporary magnet because of magnetic induction, because the magnet is closer by. So here a bar magnet actually attracts the nails in this way. So here we can see the induction first. So this north pole will induce south pole on the nail, on the first nail, and this south pole, and there is a north pole at the further end. Now this acts like a small temporary magnet, and it gets attracted towards the bar magnet, and thus they are attracted, and the nail gets attached with the magnet. Now this acts like the magnet, the first nail, and again it induces the similar kind of magnetic induction to the second nail, and this north pole will induce south pole, and the south pole over here, that means the north pole and the further end, and so on, all the nails get induced magnetism. So here, because of the induced magnetism, all the nails get attracted and they clings to the magnet, the bar magnet. And if this bar magnet is slowly removed uh, away from these nails, then these nails will fall down because of gravity, because the force of gravity becomes more than the magnetic force, and thus they fall down. So here there is another diagram which shows that the two nails are getting induced magnetism because of this north pole, because if there is a north pole over here, then on the immediate next over here on the nails there will be two south poles formed. So if over here the two south poles are formed, then there will be north poles at the further end, and thus when the two poles are north poles each, they will repel each other and they won't come together. Instead they will repel and they'll move away from each other. So here this is also the case of magnetic induction. So we can say that the temporary magnetism acquired by a magnetic material when it is kept near or in contact with a magnet is called induced magnetism. And the process in which the magnetic material develops the magnetic properties temporarily due to presence of another magnet near it is called magnetic induction.